What would you do if your child wrote to someone they'd never see again? Would you mail it, just to keep their hope alive? Or would you tell them the truth, even if it breaks their heart? Would you protect their imagination, or prepare them for a world that doesn't always answer back? Are you strong enough to watch your child hold on to someone who's never coming home? Liam's mother had to make that choice. And what happened next? No one saw coming. If you believe in the power of hope and love, stay with us to see how Liam's story unfolds. Liam was only 7, but his heart was full of questions no child should have to ask. That morning, with crayon in hand and a letter folded neatly in front of him, he looked up at his mother. "Can I send this to Daddy?" he asked softly, eyes wide and hopeful. She swallowed hard, feeling the weight of every unspoken word. How do you explain to a child that some letters never reach their destination? How do you tell him that Daddy isn't waiting on the other end, but a memory that lives only in their hearts? Still, she smiled gently and nodded. "Yes, Liam, we'll send it." It was a small moment, but for Liam, it meant the world. Together, they walked to the mailbox, the letter safe in her hand. Liam's tiny fingers wrapped around hers, grounding them both in that fragile space between grief and hope. The wind whispered softly, carrying with it dreams and fears tangled together. Days went by. Liam asked every morning, "Did Daddy get my letter?" And every time, his mother's heart broke a little more. "Maybe the wind carried it all the way to heaven," she'd say, wishing she could believe it too. Then, one unexpected afternoon, a letter arrived. The handwriting was unfamiliar, the envelope slightly worn, but inside were words. Words that spoke of love, watching over Liam, and promises that Daddy was never far away. Liam's eyes sparkled, but as he read aloud, clutching the letter like a treasure. His mother stood quietly, tears blurring her vision. Who could have sent this? Was it a stranger, or something more? The days that followed brought more letters, each one more comforting than the last. Liam's laughter returned slowly, like the first light after a storm. His mother's heart, once shattered, began to heal with each new message. But the mystery lingered. Who was writing these letters? And when would Liam be ready to know the truth? Sometimes, love is the strongest message we can send, even when the words come from unexpected places. Liam's story reminds us that hope can be a lifeline, a light in the darkest times. What would you do if faced with this choice? Would you hold on to hope for the ones you love? Or would you prepare them for a world that sometimes remains silent? The answer isn't easy, but Liam's journey shows us that even when the world seems broken, love can build bridges across time, space, and the deepest sorrow. Liam's days became filled with quiet moments of writing, each letter a little beacon of hope in the vast silence left by his father's absence. Sometimes he'd pause, crayon hovering over the paper, searching for just the right words. Other times he'd scribble with the urgent energy only a child could have, pouring out questions and stories like messages in a bottle sent across an ocean. His mother watched him from the doorway, a bittersweet smile touching her lips. She wondered how long she could keep this fragile balance, between shielding Liam's innocence and preparing him for a reality she knew all too well. One evening, Liam curled up beside her on the couch, clutching another letter close to his chest. "Mom," he whispered, "Daddy said he's proud of me. Do you think he really sees me?" His voice trembled, but his eyes were steady, searching. Her heart clenched, tight. "I think he does, Liam, more than anything." She wrapped her arms around him, holding him close. In that moment, words weren't enough. Only the quiet promise of love, but as the weeks passed, the mystery of the letters grew harder to ignore. They were always perfectly timed, arriving just when Liam needed them most, filled with encouragement and warmth that seemed almost too perfect. Curiosity gnawed at her. One afternoon, she decided to follow the trail, visiting the small post office where the letters were sent from. The clerk smiled knowingly, but said nothing about the sender, as if respecting a secret that needed to remain safe. Back at home, Liam continued to write, unaware of his mother's silent quest. To him, those letters were proof that love never dies, that someone was watching over him, even when the world felt empty. Sometimes, late at night, she found herself reading the letters too, tears blurring the words that brought comfort and peace. They were a balm to her wounded heart, a reminder that even in the darkest times, kindness could shine through. One afternoon, Liam looked up at his mother with a question that stopped her breath. "Mum, will Daddy ever come back to hug me?" She swallowed hard, tears threatening to spill. "Not in the way we want, Liam. But he's always with you. In your heart. In your smile. In everything you do." He nodded slowly, a quiet understanding settling in, the innocence of childhood meeting the bittersweet truth of loss. Their journey was far from over, but together they found strength in the letters, in each other, and in the small miracles that come from holding on to hope. Would you be able to walk that path? To carry the weight of loss with courage, while nurturing the fragile dreams of a child? Liam's story teaches us that sometimes the greatest acts of love come not from answers, but from the faith we hold when there are none. And that even when someone is gone, their presence can be felt, in the letters we send, in the memories we keep alive, and in the hearts that never forget. Days turned into weeks, and Liam's collection of letters grew. Each one was a little lifeline, a bridge connecting his small world to the memory of his father. The letters spoke of strength, bravery, and love. Words that no child should have to seek from a distant place, yet words that Liam cherished like treasures. His mother noticed the change in him. The sadness still lingered, but it was softer now, wrapped in the gentle glow of hope. Liam started to talk more about his dreams, about flying airplanes, playing football, and someday making his dad proud. It was as if those letters were helping him build a world where loss didn't mean the end, but a beginning. One quiet evening, Liam asked, "Mom, who writes these letters? Do you know?" She hesitated, the truth heavy on her tongue. She wanted to protect him a little longer, to let this magic last. "Sometimes," she said carefully, "love finds ways to speak to us, even when we can't see the person." He nodded thoughtfully, accepting that answer for now. In his heart, Liam believed. And maybe that belief was exactly what he needed to keep going. His mother often wondered about the person behind the letters, a stranger showing such kindness, or perhaps a guardian angel watching over them. Whatever the answer, she was grateful for the comfort it brought. In a world so often filled with pain, this simple gesture was a reminder that even strangers can carry light. Liam's story spread quietly through their small town, touching the hearts of neighbors and friends. People began to send small gifts, drawings, cards, little notes of encouragement, all for a boy whose hope refused to fade. His mother found strength in their kindness, realizing that grief, though deeply personal, could also bring people together in unexpected ways. There were moments when the sadness returned, sharp and sudden. But those were softened by the knowledge that Liam was not alone. That even in the darkest hours, the world still held goodness, in letters, in hearts, and in the small miracles that come when love refuses to let go. Watching Liam grow, his mother made a silent promise to protect that hope for as long as she could, to let him hold on to the belief that love is stronger than loss, and that sometimes the most beautiful stories come from the most painful beginnings. If you ever find yourself standing at that crossroads, between truth and hope, loss and love, remember Liam. Remember that sometimes the bravest thing we can do is to believe. Because in the end, it's not about the letters themselves, but the love that they carry. A love that never dies. no matter how far apart we are. One chilly morning, Liam woke up feeling a little heavier than usual. The weight of missing his dad pressed quietly on his small shoulders. But when he reached for the mailbox, he found a letter waiting, as if on cue. This letter was different. The handwriting shaky, almost hesitant. Inside, the words felt more personal, filled with memories of laughter, bedtime stories, and promises made long ago. It spoke of a love that never fades, no matter how far away someone may be. Liam's eyes filled with tears. But this time, they weren't just tears of sadness. They were tears of connection, of knowing that love could cross even the greatest divides. His mother watched him silently, her own heart breaking and healing all at once. She saw in Liam a resilience she hadn't expected, a strength born from hope and the quiet courage of a child. That day, she made a decision. It was time to share the truth gently, to walk alongside Liam into the next chapter of their journey. With trembling hands, she sat beside him and told him about the letters, about the love that sent them, and about the memories that would always keep his dad close. Liam listened, eyes wide, and for a moment, there was silence, the kind that holds everything that words cannot say. Then, with a small smile, he said, "So, it's like Daddy's still here, just in a different way?" "Yes, Liam," she whispered. "He's always here. In your heart, in these letters, and in every moment we share." From that day forward, the letters became more than just messages. They were symbols of healing, reminders that love transforms pain into strength. Liam learned that grief wasn't about forgetting, but about carrying someone with you, in every step, every smile, every letter written with a hopeful heart. His mother too found peace in that truth. Together they discovered that even when life changes forever, love remains, unbroken, unending, and alive in the smallest of gestures. And maybe, just maybe, that's the greatest story we can ever tell. Sometimes, life hands us stories filled with loss, hope, and the kind of love that defies explanation. Liam's journey reminds us that even in the deepest sadness, there is a light, a quiet strength, born from holding on to what truly matters. We all face moments where we must choose between protecting innocence and sharing truth, between holding on and learning to let go. And while those choices are never easy, they shape the way we heal, grow, and connect. If you've ever wondered how to keep hope alive when the world feels broken, remember Liam. Remember the power of a simple letter, a child's faith, and a mother's love that refused to let go. Because sometimes, the most extraordinary miracles come from the smallest acts of kindness. A letter sent across the sky, a whispered promise in the night, or a heart willing to believe in something greater. Thank you for listening to Liam's story. If it touched your heart, share it with someone who might need to hear it too. And remember, love never truly leaves us. It lives on, in every word, every memory, and every brave step forward. If Liam's story touched your heart, please consider giving this video a like and sharing it with someone who might need a little hope today. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that remind us of the strength found in love and kindness. Thank you for being here and sharing in this journey.